So there are some skill positions left. Looking at wide receiver, I'm just going to highlight one guy today. And it's not even the one who's number one on my list, but there's an interesting development here. The number one guy on my list is Jamori Macklin from UNT, who has been offered by Baylor. He's the cousin of Jeremy Macklin, but don't let that stand on its own. His production can stand on its own. He went over 1,000 yards this year. He was a big play guy out of the slot for a good UNT offense. He is an NFL receiver. He truly is. And another one who kind of fits the mold of NFL receiver is one that's in a little bit of a pinch right now. Okay. I'm talking about Eric McAlister. He's a wide receiver from Boise State, and he had a big year this year. 47 receptions, 873 yards, 5 touchdowns, 19 yards a catch. He is that outside receiver that Baylor could really, really use. 6'4", 200 pounds, long and lanky. Those guys play, especially at Baylor. And he is a Texas native. He's from Azle, up there in the Metroplex. And the kind of good/bad of this is he did leave his team early. He left with 3 games to go with Boise State to focus on the transfer portal because he had a bit of a falling out, it seems like, with his coach. That's Avalos. And if that Avalos name sounds familiar to you, that's because it looks like he's going to take the job as the defensive coordinator at TCU. Well, where was Eric McAlister's crystal ball projection 100% at this week? TCU. So I think they had him in the door. And this could mess everything up. He's not pulled punches about it. He has said it in interviews. I think it was Bronco Nation Daily was the one who had it, saying, yeah, they were at ends. And he didn't comment much further, but could tell that he just had a deteriorated relationship with his head coach. And now that guy's going to be in the same locker room on the different side of the ball, sure. But in the same locker room, I don't think Eric McAlister's going for that. I really don't. And I think TCU might have to pick DC or this receiver. And they're probably going to pick DC, which means Eric McAlister might open things up even more in the transfer portal. He's already got a relationship with Jake Spavital. Remember how Jake Spavital didn't really recruit a lot of Texas high school football guys when he was at Texas State? I do. I remember that. He was a big portal guy. Now he's forgotten those ways, apparently. But one of the few guys that he did recruit out of high school, so a real diamond in the rough, clearly a special player if Spavital's looking for him out of high school, is Eric McAlister. Wouldn't you know? So there's a relationship there. And there's a relationship with the DC at TCU, but it ain't very good. So this is just interesting to me. I think bringing in someone like McAlister to play on the outside is just going to prove huge dividends for your offense in general, but also Keytron Jackson. I really think I just see Keytron Jackson as more of a wide receiver anyway. Someone who can still play on the outside, but is physical and clearly struggled this season when drawing the other team's best assignment, their best corner. And with the lack of versatility on Baylor's offense, they were able to really key on Keytron Jackson. Baylor hasn't had a receiver that teams have needed a game plan around since Tyquan Thornton left. And I think Eric McAlister has some Tyquan Thornton in him. I mean, he's a burner, and he can open things up in the red zone the way we saw Tyquan did, that we didn't really see Tyquan do in 2019 or 2020. But a guy with that kind of length and those kind of ball skills and how quick they are off the line, that's a real red zone threat. And Baylor stunk in the red zone this year. I mean, they stunk most of the places, but when they got near that red zone, it was bad. It was atrociously bad. So Eric McAlister, if you don't like that Avalos guy, come on. We're here. Just, 100 miles down the road. Got a beautiful stadium. Got a better basketball team. Have a Big 12 championship more recently. Don't look at the record against TCU, but come on down here and help us turn that around, Eric. Anyway, we got some more receivers that I'm going to look at throughout the week. But remember, I am going to have one this week. I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow or Thursday, but I'm looking for a mailbag episode. So drop whatever questions you have down in the comments below. Find us on Twitter at Locked On Baylor or at Real Cam Stewart is where you find me. Shoot us a DM, tweet at us, send us a question. I am literally going to spend a whole episode just answering y'all's questions as a time to kind of catch up here at the end of a wacky football season and in the middle of what's supposed to be a very promising basketball season. And before you guys have to deal with the in-laws and, all the great stuff about Christmas too. Drop that in the comments below. We're going to do a little mailbag. Be sure to like and subscribe, share, find us on social media. This is the only place you're getting nothing but Baylor athletics content 5 days a week from something that's not called Baylor University. Thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. We'll be back tomorrow with Locked On Baylor.